Part 1. The Psychology of Overthinking. Overthinking is not the search for answers. It is often the mind's attempt to control uncertainty. Most people believe overthinking is simply thinking too much. Psychology suggests something deeper. Overthinking is often what happens when the mind becomes trapped between fear and uncertainty. The brain keeps replaying conversations, imagining future problems, analyzing mistakes, and creating endless possibilities. Not because it enjoys suffering, but because it believes thinking longer will eventually create safety. And that illusion of control is what makes overthinking psychologically addictive. Neuroscientists have found that uncertainty activates threat systems inside the brain. In simple terms, the human mind dislikes not knowing what will happen. This is why people replay messages before sending them, rehearse conversations that never happen, analyze facial expressions, and mentally relive embarrassing moments years later. The brain believes, if I think hard enough, I can prevent pain. But excessive thinking rarely creates peace. Instead, it creates mental exhaustion. Psychologists call this rumination. Repetitive thinking focused on distress, fear, mistakes, or emotional pain. Research has repeatedly linked rumination to anxiety, depression, insomnia, and emotional burnout. The mind becomes trapped in a loop, thinking without resolution. And the dangerous part is that overthinking often feels productive. The person feels mentally active, prepared, careful. But in reality, the brain is often rehearsing fear instead of solving problems. Carl Jung once wrote next to art, "Thinking is difficult, that's why most people judge. But overthinkers do the opposite. They think endlessly, analyze endlessly, question endlessly. And eventually the mind becomes unable to rest." Overthinking also changes how people experience the present moment. Instead of living experiences directly, the mind begins observing life from a distance, analyzing, predicting, controlling. This is why chronic overthinkers often struggle to feel emotionally calm, even during peaceful moments, because the brain becomes conditioned to search for problems constantly. And eventually, silence itself begins to feel uncomfortable. Psychologists believe many overthinkers are not actually addicted to thinking. They are addicted to certainty. But certainty is something human beings rarely fully achieve, and this creates a psychological paradox. The more the mind searches for complete certainty, the more anxious it becomes because life itself is uncertain. This is why emotionally intelligent people eventually learn something important. Not every thought deserves attention, and not every fear deserves belief. Sometimes the healthiest thing the mind can do is stop trying to control every possible outcome, because peace is not found through endless analysis. Sometimes peace begins when the mind finally accepts uncertainty. And perhaps the most disturbing part of overthinking is this. Even when people know overthinking is hurting them, many still cannot stop. So why does the mind become trapped in endless thought loops? Why does the brain continue thinking even when the thinking itself becomes painful? In the next video, we will explore the deeper psychology behind why the mind cannot stop overthinking.